right, good evening, Coin Observatory. Good evening, everyone. It's somewhat of a not emergency live stream, right? But I'm seeing something that I really wanted to highlight, and I figured come out and do a stream. Sent out a publication today. We sent out an email newsletter, and then we also put out a Medium publication yesterday. What I'm seeing is a falling wedge. We're going to cover all these charts. We're going to cover Ether. We're going to cover US. We're going to cover Total 2, BTC. We're going to cover others. But I really want to bring your attention to this right here, which is the others chart. And this isn't the others dominance, just the others on the daily chart. And what I'm seeing right now is a falling wedge, right, that has potentially broken out, right? You can chart this with wicks, which I'm not a fan of, right, because this would have been like, broken out already. I'm a fan of candles. The reason I'm a fan of candles in the actual candle body is because they represent price action as it is during the day. The wicks are just extreme participants. Crypto's volatile. So I tend to keep those out of my trend lines and I discount them, especially when it comes to breaking. In this wedge, it's definitely broken on the daily. It's done this retest. It's lasted for a long time, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8, 9 days. Let me drop a TD sequential on here. Is this a TD9? I hadn't even looked at that before this stream, and I wish I did. But let's see what happens with a TD sequential. I'll use glass. That's a 6. Okay, it's a 6. Let's go to 720. Maybe we get a 9, which is a 12-hour chart. I'm not trying to make the chart compliant. I'm just trying to see if there is more confirmation. Okay, we don't have a 9. Anyways, so that aside, so there's no 9. I just thought I could eyeball a TD9. What's going on, John? I'm just going to turn that off. So what I'm seeing is this falling wedge. It's already broken out, right? And this can be validated by some of the altcoins that we've seen. Some of the altcoins have rallied pretty hard in the past few weeks. Something like ZRX, right? And it's these alts that are actually like leading this rally. And ZRX is up 156% from the low, right? And we're going to see several of these alts that have actually started moving. I think Lumens just broke out of the bullish triangle that it was doing. Or it's trying to, and I think it's up another like 50% as well. Right, so we're seeing alts rally. They're coming out of this bear market abyss. BAT has done so too, and these are the rally leaders right now, right? These tokens are actually initiating this rally, and that's what's causing that move in the others chart, right? So 66% on BAT, and I'm just taking the last swing low. Back to here, so what we're seeing is this index, this altcoin index, which is the others chart, which is the market cap of all tokens, excluding Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ether, Bcash, Ripple, Monero, IOTA, and a couple of others. So this is all altcoins, right? Except for a select few. And this chart is looking like a falling wedge that's already broken out, retested, and essentially is waiting for takeoff, right? And if you look at some other altcoins, like Holochain just took off today, and a couple others. So I believe alts are going to cycle. They're going to rally. That's been the highlight of my last couple of publications and last couple of streams. And I think it's starting to happen, especially with this formation. So I'll give it a few more days, and hopefully we can break that 12.3 billion, right? Hopefully we can knock out this last high. That way we're in full-blown alt season. We get a confirmation of this breakout, and we keep on, ride some alts up. And coming out of that, right, the only conflicting data I'm seeing right now is on the total 2 chart, which includes others, but also has more alts. We're starting to see also the same formation, right? A wedge, but we also have like somewhat of a head and shoulders in here. I don't want to give that head and shoulders a lot of weight. I also don't want to discount it. It's a really big head and shoulders, right? If this was to play out, 100%, 111% will wipe out. That's really daunting, right? So, But the last time we saw anything this big was on the traditional assets earlier this year, and it actually didn't even play out. It kind of did something like this, and they shot up, like the indices, the S&P. I actually wrote about it, and it totally just turned around and completely violated the neckline. We're currently at this neckline. I really want to see, just like when I was on that other chart, I want to see this high get knocked out and become support. And that way, we can safely assume that this head and shoulders is invalid, and we can stay in the market and not sell everything now and look back to buy later and short everything. So that's the main conflicting data. But the good news is there is a wedge here as well. This one has not broken, right? It looks like we're almost there. Price is trying to open above. It's not really acting like a wedge though. Let's throw in some RSI and see what we have. So there's a little bit of a failure swing. We did go oversold just a hair, but we're starting to see the initial divergence, and then here we're seeing not quite a divergence on this one, so I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to force it to comply, and I'm just going to get rid of our unbalanced volume. I'm not going to use it on this chart setup. Well, that being said, right, that's the two main things I'm looking out for right now. I do have quite a few altcoin signals open, right? And I'll pop up our current alts here shortly. I want to go into BTC before we before going into alts, because that's what everybody's concerned about. The primary formation I'm seeing on here isn't very convincing of bullish, right? It's not really a sexy formation if you are long. It's almost looks like a broadening triangle, like a reverse triangle, until we come in here. And last night I was talking in our BitMEX Savagery channel. My guys, we're at linear support. This is a possible failed extension because of how did I chart this? I think I did this. Yeah. So I'm like, guys, this could be a long opportunity because of a failure at the 1.2. Right, and that's where swings typically fail, and you always usually get a revisit of the one if this fails. Didn't signal a long. Didn't want to throw money at it. I still have longs from this swing low and this swing low, and a short from up here. So I'm hedged, little net long, and I want to see this continue. It's not very convincing, bullish or bearish. The last impulse was down. And now that we're in a smaller time frame, we're just going to extend this out, right? And now we look at this, and it could be a bear flag, right? It could be a bear flag, but it needs to break below the flag to get a confirmation. Let's go on our Phantom and see what's going on the 4-hour, 2-hour. You guys don't know, Phantom is our proprietary indicator that we've been using, and the 60 is given a buy signal here. We kind of saw the same thing develop. I was telling the guys yesterday, I want to see this go back up above 8,200. The reason is what we're seeing on Phantom. Typically, when we see price action start wedging, right, or going down below Phantom, like a liquidity grab and a close above, we're gonna see a reaction from the bulls, and we're going to see somewhat of a short squeeze. So I want to see short squeeze. I want to see 80, 273, and 85 would be amazing, right? To get a visit at 85, that'd be pretty sexy, especially when everybody's bearish right now. Conversely, right, if you go back and look at just like we were talking about on other charts, there's also a daunting, I'm not even going to call it a head and shoulders, but I mean, you do have somewhat of a neckline here. I just don't want to see price trade down there, right? If it does, I want to see an MA bounce like right away, a wick, right? I want to see a wick of 67. I don't want to see trading below this range, and ideally, I don't want to see a drop below 70. like to not see a drop below 76, right? I think that's going to be a critical area for bulls to hang on to. Now, what's going on with these MAs? Why do I have them drawn, right? These tend to be critical MAs whenever we're going into a correction or coming out of a correction, or if a market's bullish and we get a pullback to the zone. It's typically a good entry to market. I'm just going to pop up this example on gold, and that's the 360-day moving average, right? Typically, when you see a correction to it, we want to see the rally continue. Now, yes, we've been trading here for a while, but if you were to consider this pullback that we're in BTC right now something similar to this, and treat it as one of these for now until it proves otherwise, and short the swing highs above, I think we'll be in good shape, right? Let's go back to like XBT USD. We already had one wick off this MA, right? And that was the gap fill at 67. Ironically, it coincides with one of my key MAs. We had another rejection here. And then yesterday, I was seeing some RSI divergences on BTC and on ETH, and I was saying, guys, this is going to turn around. And some of you guys were still bearish, like, hey, it looks like a bull trap on our Momo indicator. But this right here, if we look at these consecutive lows, right? Whenever you're looking at a divergence, you want to look at the close, and yeah, this is a hidden bullish divergence right here, because you got a lower low on the chart and a higher low on RSI, and I think the hourly was doing the same thing on BTC. Actually, another hidden bullish div. I'm just going to remove my drawing tools and just kind of snap that back here. That being said, margin trading is getting expensive, right? You can't be getting stopped out, getting stopped out, getting stopped out. So it's just hedge the swing lows and hedge the swing highs, long here, short here. Let the chart do the work. Slow down on margin signals because this isn't, hasn't been too nice, right? Might as well wait for confirmation and add. Some of you guys are still holding this long. Some of us are still holding these longs, right, from lower to 77. And yeah, actually we're getting some kind of MDRP here where RSI, yeah, I'm expecting continuation, right? I want to see 8,200. I said that yesterday for the VIPs. All right, popping into the next chart. Covered BTC, covered others. Let's hop into ETH, right? ETH has been, you guys have been screaming ETH for a while now. Coincidentally, it was somewhat of a coincidence, right? There's this wedge right before Crypto God dropping in a BTC chart. Yeah. What's your time frame on that? Oh, it's the dominance chart. I don't know, I was looking at that wedge, but I think we're going to come down to support. I wouldn't pay attention as much to that. That's a nice chart. Here, I'll go ahead and bring it in. All right. He's seeing this rising wedge. It's breaking down. RSI seems to be holding. I'm not sure what Momo's saying. That's their volume indicator. Anyways, what's really appealing to me right now, Crypto God, is this, right? This puppy broke, and it looks like it's ready. And I think even others.d, I'll pull up an others.d and Bitcoin dominance side by side to see what's happening with those two. I had posted some of that in our Discord, I think today. Now let's go back to ETH. I think this was during DEF CON. We saw this rally and we traded it and we shorted up here and we wrote it down, longed again. And this was during, I think it was a DEF CON, and it was in Israel, right? And that was when we saw this rally happen. And I was looking at the fundamentals on ETH on CoinMarketCalendar, and it looks like January is going to be the release of ETH 2.0, right? where they're going to solve scaling problems, just like the evolution of ETH, and it's going to be like the initial, I think it's calling it phase 0. So I don't know how much longer we can go sideways and how low we can actually go. Actually, I do know how low we can go, probably down to the 140s, which is what our Phantom's saying. Right, I mean, next critical level supports 150, 159, and the one below it's going to be 148. If we do go into capitulation, these are going to be levels where I'm going to pop in, probably cover a lot of my shorts because I'm so short from up here, and then probably add to long and buy a spot, right? That's when we go all in on these two levels. 488 2.0, right? Potential tops. If this does pop up, we're going to look at that previous high of 190 and a secondary high of 243, 244. If you guys using Phantom, there's been a lot of chop noise in the market. We're using 7.6 and 7.3, two Phantom scripts overlaid on the same chart. That's been giving me the clearest indication. I said I'd cover others dominance versus Bitcoin dominance, and let's do that next. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch out my layout a little bit. So others.d and btc.d. Right, look at that on that Phantom on the 4 hour. You guys know what this is. When you get rejection above our midline, that typically says you're going to see upwards continuation. And what's interesting about others, give me a daily chart, please. And the reason we use Phantom, guys, is going to signal tops. It's going to signal bounces, more tops, possible bottoms, right? Like this was a liquidity way below bottom. We're going to be able to catch a lot of this action. Some of it's going to be false, and it's going to work out beautifully. But what I'm seeing is happening here, right? It's above the downtrend. It retested and came back up. Last time we saw something like this was December, January, right before this February 27th. If you guys look at any of my Ether publications that I've published on ETH BTC, February 24th, 2017, Ether retested a wedge on BTC, and then it entered this bull run. And I'll pull up the ETH BTC chart too. So there's a lot of parallels between now and then. Extended downtrend, recoup, go sideways, chop down before a rally. That being said, if we look at BTC.D, next to it, there's some room to come down and touch this linear support. And then there's also room to come down and touch this other linear support. Now, is it failing to go oversold? Yes, it is. Is it a failure swing? It is. Is it going to play out? Let's check this wedge. A lot of wedges in the market, right? A lot of wedges in the market. I mean, this one is more consistent with friction along support than it is with resistance, as opposed to our other wedges where price was actually up here, which is more validating to the wedge. So that being said, I see a room for further pullback. I want to see RSI get oversold here for a move. All right. Now that I've covered what I want to cover on the market dynamics and what I'm seeing, let's talk about altcoins. I'd like for you guys to show me some of your favorite tokens, what altcoins you want me to cover. And before I do that, I want to take a look at the S&P. And I'd said today we might want to consider longing, or not longing, but buying 307 calls, which sounds super crazy. But that's where, in my opinion, liquidity is based on Phantom. And just based on what's been happening in after hour, just based on market structure, right? And let's go to the hourly chart. This is the SPY. Come on, Phantom. Turn on. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're in 7673. The S&P is above the sell signal, right? The next level of necking is going to be up here. Now, we didn't reach that level last time. RSI is saying it's not going to go there, and that's the S&P. But if you look at the ES1, that's where all the gaps come in, all right? The after hours trading, that's where the plunge protection team is buying. Where was I seeing it? Yeah, we're still, I do believe there is a possibility of another up move just for a liquidity grab, get rid of all these shorts, and then pull back down, right? These calls were really cheap. By the end of the day, they were $5. I don't know. I sold my SPXLs. I'm kind of on the sidelines. I really want to get these calls, guys, for 307. Think we can go up. This looks like Phantom's starting to turn down on the 240. Let's go to the 120. I do believe liquidity's up here. Firmly believe liquidity's up here. Think they're going to pump it up during after hours, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Or over the weekend, Monday, Tuesday. I think next week we're going to be in this territory. We might come down for a retest. We might come down for a retest of our midline before we turn back up. Just would be another liquidity grab. Let's see what the 15's doing on the ES1. You guys can start dropping some altcoins in the comments. I'll go ahead and cycle through those. So the 15 is holding above the midline, right? I want to see a break of 29.99 before we go up. This could easily chop down to 29.80, and I'd probably take in calls at that level just so we end up trading what Vanity Fair was complaining about last month. They were saying this was market manipulation, but it really wasn't. I mean, if our algorithm can pick this up, there's no reason a publication is going to cry about it, right? If our algo can trade long, short, if we can trade this, there's no reason they're complaining about it. Oh, and I'll take a look at PHUN. Oh my goodness, what is that? Is that a bull flag at the end? Can't really see it. Man, that looks bullish. It's way above our sell signal. I think you're gonna see continuation here. It's in between the midlines. Tell me about this asset. What is this? What is Funware? So both phantoms are pretty much showing the same data. If this is going to top off, I think 229 is the target, 227. But it's got to close above 169 to get there. I wouldn't trade this on options because I'm not familiar with this chart. Yeah, I think there's a possibility of getting up here as long as it's got to clear 169, and I think 240s is 239 is going to be, it would be my next target if I was phantom trading this. Let's get rid of that. I don't see any formations on here. Another call I made this week was on MJ for traditional assets. So at long 19. It's at $20, guys. Like, you know, this was the buy-in. If you put this up on the daily chart, I have been waiting for this buy level for a long time. I had a good friend of mine request this. He's like, hey, can you look at this chart for me? And this was months ago. It was down here and it was coming down. I said, stop buying. We're gonna buy this at $18. Actually, 17.36 was the chart I sent him. And it hit here and it bounced, right? This is liquidity grab. We should have bought $20 calls. I don't know why I didn't. Just didn't have enough faith in it. If it comes back down, we'll go ahead and buy those calls. And I think now our target's 30. All right, pretty nice. You're welcome. All right, I'm not getting a whole lot of altcoin requests, but I did cover quite a bit of data. If you guys can just throw in some alts, I'd love to review them. And if not, I'm just going to go ahead and call it a day. All right, well, thank you all for tuning into the stream. Smash that like button if you like the video. I'll hang on for a couple alt requests if we do get them. If we don't get them, smash that like button. Click subscribe. There's a few links to our newsletters and publications in the comments. There's also a link to Discord if you want to hop in and join Discord. Yeah, any other questions? Catch us on Discord. Thank you for watching this stream. And trade safe, use stop losses, trail your stops, right? Trail your stops and look for pullbacks. Look for pullbacks. Things like ZRX right now. All right, before I wrap it up, I just want to bring in one of my favorite charts in terms of figuring out altcoin cycles. It would be BAT, right? And it's kind of how you know I've been trading these cycles on these moving averages on BAT for a very, very, very long time, like 5 different cycles, right? On average, they last between 30 to 50 to 60 days. And that being said, I think we're halfway through the early boomers, right? This one was 77 days, but a lot of other tokens ate the dust when BAT finished the rally on that blow off top. So how many days in are we from the swing low? We're 42 days, right? So I want to see what happens in the next 10 to 15 days on BAT. Yeah. All right, going over BNB, BTC. What happened to my inverse head and shoulders on here? Aha, there it is. Right, so saw this last week. I posted it, showed it to our VIPs, even talked about the correlation between BNB volatility and BTC volatility. And I said there's this inverse head and shoulders here, and we're likely to see a rally. We're likely to see volatility come back into BTC. And yeah, these do have a direct correlation, whether it's inverse or not. It can change. I had a 15% target to a neckline, so now we have a 15% target up. Something like this, you know, I would hold it until target, right? It's classic formation. Can't be any more clear cut. Moving averages on the 4-hour look wide open. On the daily, it's open throttle. When moves like this happen, sometimes it gets choppy and sometimes we get these big rallies, right? But if you look at this on BNB, historically, it's played out once, faked out. Well, this was kind of corrective, right? Look at this big rally, secondary rally, another rally, third rally, pull back, pull back, pull back. And I think this was the big boom. This was earlier this year when it reached its all-time high in USD and surpassed previously. And then now we're seeing somewhat of a flag. Let me go into a 4-hour. What is this formation? I wouldn't call that a flag. What is RSI saying? RSI is starting to get failure swingy. So I think we're gonna see a bit of a down move, a bit of a pullback, likely to the zone. I'll go ahead and drop a price label. That's just my opinion, right? I'm not telling you guys to go all alts based on the stream. I just want to guide you guys just towards things on my end. So we see these MAs act as support. We could see another pullback to 2250 and possibly 2157. Based on this 4-hour RSI where it's heading down, the chart's still making higher highs. There was a wedge and it's retested. If this does keep going up, we're likely going to experience a blow off top. And I'm not a fan of those because it's hard to figure out your sell unless you're just using fibs and profit taking. So this would be the wedge retest. And based on this RSI move, I think we're topped off for now, unless we get a close above 23.5. Pullback level, right? If this hits, I'm just going to go ahead and set an alert right now. If this hits 2150, it is an ad. Boom, got an alert. Hey, Delilah, how are you doing? Fred, I think our down move is gonna. I can see an intermittent down move, right? Just a pullback. I don't think it's gonna go lower than the head and shoulders. I don't think we're gonna go to a new low. I think like level L, T1 is 22.5, T2 is gonna be 21.5, T3 is 205. I didn't pick the fives; they just happen to be there. Any more requests, guys? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your requests. Once again, smash that like button. And PPT. Not letting me get off. I like it. All right, first things first, we had an impulse. We had a blow off. This is a 1.2. I'm just going to tell you this right now. Boom. Come on. You should know to sell here on this failure. You should know to get out. You can get a buyback at some point. All right. That being said, let's pop this fib back up from here to here. And I'm just going to use candle bodies. This looks like a 50% retracement. All right. Once I fix it. Okay. I'd want to see continuation. Is there some kind of div over here? Yeah, man, come on. 1.2 swing failure plus a failure swing, lower high in RSI, and a peak in ADX. Like, this should have been a sell up here and looking for the buyback. I think 2 critical areas to pay attention to here. All right, we got the 5,600 mark, right, which is going to be your 50% fib, and your 61.8. Right now, I think it's in a trade zone. I would pop an order here, right? Limit long, and then I'd want to wait and see what happens. We get an up move. Now, on the daily, how does this cycle? It looks good, man. It looks good for the pullback. Close above. Once again, close above that 56.81. Should see a secondary rally, right? We should. I did not hear about Voyager. I did not. Let's look at BQX. All right. based on what alts are doing, what's volume here? $28 BTC. I would wait for volume if you don't just want to hold it indefinitely, right? What's our RSI is definitely second, third, fourth, fifth divergence, right? We've got one divergent low, two third divergent low. I think this has to pop up, right? But it's not as bullish as some of these other tokens. It's not. And we could see it potentially, you know, come up, and we want to see the MA crosses. We want to see it trading above my long-term MA before a long confirmation, unless it does something like Monero. And this has been, look at that, right? I haven't looked at Monero since earlier today, but I think there's a buy opportunity right here at the 50%. Maybe let's do a 4-hour chart. Yeah, I mean, this looks juicy, right? Probably gonna add some Monero here, probably signal it for the up move, because when Monero starts, I'm just gonna use the term pumping, it goes pretty hard. It's still below my long-term MA, but let me pull it up on the Bittrex chart and I'll show you some Monero reversals that, right? I mean, XMR can literally do this. I think this was a 200% move in a few days. I mean, I traded these, that's why I know how big they are, all right? So I think we're at this level here where you want to look for a confirmation, some kind of cross, some kind of pullback. All right. That about concludes our power hour. Unless you guys have any more altcoin suggestions, come and do some restructuring on my portfolio after looking at Monero again. Thank you guys for tuning in. Smash that like button. You bet, friend. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please smash that like button, share the video, hop in Discord, and catch you next time. Trade safe, set some stops. Don't get greedy. Cheers.